This show is sponsored by Horizon HVAC, who you can count on for all of your heating and cooling needs. Also by CES Construction, who specializes in bathroom and kitchen remodels. All right, welcome back to the Mindset Radio podcast. I first want to start this podcast off by sharing our new referral program for Horizon HVAC. Yes. We got these new door hangers that you can pass out to your friends, to your family, put on doors in your neighborhood, put in on doors of businesses around your area. And we put this special perforated edge attached to the panel, and you can actually rip this off. So when the customer goes and hands it in, you would have your name on the back of this offer. And at the same time, they're saving $200.
Yeah.
So they're saving $200. Mm-hmm. The salesman, which would be yourself or whoever hands it out to their friends and family, would have their name on the back of it. So Ash, if you did it, right, you'd have Ash, and when they would call Horizon HVAC, Stephanie would answer, find out how they heard about us, because that's something that we do in every single phone call to try to get our marketing down packed so we know exactly what's going where and who's calling from what. Mm-hmm. And if they say, oh, we got it from a door hanger, we ask, oh, what's the name on the back of the coupon? If it's Ash, then Ash gets an 8% commission off the total profit of the job. Now, it's an incredible way for people to make extra money.
Yeah.
And I hope people take advantage of this, because when I was younger, even 5 years ago, I would have jumped on this so fast and I would have handed these out to everybody I knew. Great opportunity to make extra money. Today, we actually did a job all the way out in Connecticut, and it was my partner's mother who handed out the job and handed out the offer. And she made $650.
Nice.
Just from doing nothing.
Yeah.
That also includes Facebook, Instagram, any job, any referral that you bring into the company. We offer and honor the 8% commission. This is just much cooler because they get $200 off too.
Right. It's almost like you're giving them $200 cash. It is like you're giving them $200 cash. Plus, you're also giving yourself back some cash. Yeah. And the holidays are coming. So if you start now, by Christmas, you'll have your complete fund.
Yeah. And shout out to Heavy Press Graphics for helping me put this together.
Yes.
I actually wasn't sure about it when we originally were putting it together and we saw it on the screen.
Yeah.
I was looking at it and kind of was thinking it's a little bit too busy, and wasn't sure exactly if I liked it or not. And I ended up making the decision to go ahead and pull the trigger, print out 1,000 copies, and now we're here. And honestly, they look great. And now that I just ripped off of the offer, mm-hmm. and I'm looking at it like this, it looks even better.
It's patriotic. It's red, white, and blue, and Horizon is green, which is all New England. Our trees, our plants, everything's beautiful. So it's the perfect one.
Speaking of green, I think the story of how Horizon came to be is an interesting one.
It is. Please share.
We're out on a golf course, and this was right around the time where I started CES Construction. I had been in business for about a year, and Mike came on the golf course, and he said, listen, man, I see what you're doing with CES, and I love it.
Yeah.
I want to get out of the banking business. I work for Citizens Bank. He's been there for 13 years.
Wow.
He did property management. He was a vice president for the PM department. And he's been in HVAC for over, 20 something years. He worked for a bunch of companies in Rhode Island. And he said, let's start a business, man. Let's see where this thing can go. I think when he came to me, and we talked about this the other day, it was more of like a part-time thing.
Yeah.
Like he was like, let's make some extra money.
Right. Side cash. But little did he know he was talking to an absolute animal that just doesn't stop. And I just had to take this and go as far as I could with it, because I saw the potential right from the beginning. Yeah.
I saw the need for it instead of a want.
Yes, big.
And we implemented these plans, and now we're here. But anyway, how was your day today? I haven't seen you all day today.
It's great. It was a really productive day.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for the life that we've created. Collectively, it took us individually a lot of personal decisions to get to where we are today. So by the time you and I were able to cross paths, we were both ready to be in the seats that we're in, it's a one in a lifetime opportunity when it comes to love, because really everybody wants to be loved. At the end of the day, it is what drives the human race. And whether you believe in the Bible or not, even in the Bible, they said that the angels came down from heaven to be with the humans because the women were so beautiful and they wanted to feel love. So everybody grows up with either the Disney story. I watched all the princess movies, and or I read a lot of books, and you have a fairy tale built up in your head. And so when you're going through life and you're growing up and you're meeting new people, unless that fantasy is filled, you're never really satisfied. And that's just the way it is. It's almost like your soul knows that it's not correct, whether you watched movies or not. And you're my Prince Charming for sure. 100%. Yeah, we live a fairy tale.
We found each other at the right time.
Yes.
You know what it is? We both have the same interests.
Yeah, big time.
We both are very similar. We both have the same interests. We both gravitate towards the same things.
Yeah.
So it just makes things 100 times easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is, I talk to a few people and I hear their stories about their wife is nagging me today, and I don't want to go home because she's doing this. And this morning we argued because of that. And, I can't watch my TV shows because she does, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
I feel like with, 80% of people that I talk to about relationships, if it comes up, it's usually in a negative manner.
Yeah.
Which
it's
sucks.
sad.
Man.
It's
sucks.
sad.
I've been there, and you have too. I think we've all been here. Ash, I know you've probably been there too.
Yeah.
When you're in a shitty fucking relationship, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks, man.
And what sucks about it is it doesn't have to be shitty, but why it feels shitty is because our souls are not connected.
But just don't be in it.
Just
get out of it. I know it's easier said than done.
It is definitely easier said than done. And there's always, there's reasons. Like sometimes people want to save other people, or they have that superhuman.
I think that's more women that do that.
I think, perhaps it is women, but there's also men that want to be Batman and,
yeah, but
Robin
they don't have the tools. They have,
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of I don't know. It's just a thing, if you're not happy, get out of it.
Yeah.
Get out of it. And again, easier said than done.
Yeah.
But I've made the decision of leaving a relationship before, and it was the best thing I've ever done.
Same.
And I've also been in a relationship where I was stuck in it and I didn't know which way to go. And I'm like, if I leave, then this is going to happen. And you start weighing your options. But 30 days after you guys break, after you leave that shitty relationship, things will start getting better. Time heals everything.
Absolutely.
It does. It heals everything. Whether you're moving on from a job, whether you're moving on from a relationship, whether you're anything, time will heal.
Even sometimes you have to move away from friends that you grew up with or friends that you've met throughout time because you're just not colliding anymore, or family. It shouldn't hurt like that. You should want that person to do well and be well in their ventures of life. But that's what's beautiful about being individuals, is you have your own loves and likes and dislikes, and you can take yourself anywhere and be happy, because being happy, you have to do that yourself. Like, you enhance my happiness. You make me happier every day. But I definitely think that it's a two-part deal. Like, I have to have that inner happiness too.
Yeah, if you didn't make me happy, I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't happy, then you wouldn't be happy.
Exactly.
It's in full circle. Ash, what's your relationship status like? Have you been in any long-term relationships?
Long-term, not really. Longest relationship I've been in, I think it was about 6-7 months.
Really? How old are you?
I'm 29.
That's right, 29.
Turning 30. So, last relationship though I've had was basically out of high school. And it was like a bit of long term because I was going off to college, and it was like not necessarily, I wasn't in like the right mindset. I'm like, all right, I'm in college now, and I'm away from my girlfriend. So it was kind of one of those things where it's like I started distancing myself just to like be able to be more into college, if that makes sense. Like, because long distance is always tough, regardless. But it was a mindset that unfortunately I went into.
What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the right one to come? What's going on?
Yeah, definitely. definitely waiting for the right one. It's more than just, hey, you're pretty, I pick you.
Yeah.
It's about having a connection, because I need to be able to understand them, but in the same way they need to be able to understand me. And so it's a balance to everything. Obviously, like, you want beauty, you want ability in some areas, but like at the same time, what really matters is just, can you guys get together and mesh together well?
Stability and mindset.
Yeah.
That's number one, man. If you don't have that, then there's no relationship.
True.
You know what I mean? There is no relationship if you don't have, and that common ground of just being able to both have something in common.
Yeah.
A goal. Like we were saying it the other day. So we're getting still a lot of great feedback from everybody watching our Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we had a friend talk to us the other day about trying to inspire people who are in shitty relationships and what they can do to make it better.
Yes.
Right. And I took that as a compliment, because he obviously sees us as a strong relationship, and he wants us to kind of spin that and try to express how possible it is to get out of that mindset of coming home to a shitty relationship, which, number one, I would say exercise together. That is so important. I don't care if I get somebody that's listening right now and they're like, oh, everybody says working out will fix all their problems. Listen,
it does.
It does. It fixes 90% of them, because if you feel better, you will start performing better. If you look better, you will start doors will start opening. It's just how life is. And the sooner you understand that, and people that don't believe that, they're just stubborn, they're stuck in their ways, and it is what it is. But I'm telling you, man, from experience, it's very true. So that's number one. Go to the gym together, exercise together.
Yeah.
Find a goal that you guys can both hit and achieve and build outside of the gym, whether if it's drop shipping, a side hustle. You guys want to start a website and do, whatever, OnlyFans, whatever. I don't know. Just something that you guys can do together, connect and build and grow, because life is all about just growing.
Yeah.
Think about a plant. Think about anything that came from a seed. Their main objective in life is to grow. And there's no difference from a human being to the next living thing. Yeah. We all are here to grow, and there's certain ways that we can metaphorically grow by achieving certain goals, because that just makes us feel like we are getting closer to the objective on why we're here in the first place.
The purpose of life.
Why are we here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody asks that question, why are we here? It's to grow. That's my thought.
Definitely. And to piggyback off of your growth statement there, it's interesting. I was just thinking about this the other day. Parenting is a very difficult task in life, because you don't really realize it in the beginning, even though subconsciously that you are developing and molding a human being outside of the womb, and that human being depends on you 100%. So if you're not on point, they're not going to be on point, and you're going to spend more years backtracking just to fix them. But also, with that being said, I was thinking about things I used to say, not thinking about what I was saying. Like, I would, as a term of endearment, my mother and my grandmother, they'd say, don't grow, stop growing. And so I, in turn, with my children, as they were getting taller and bigger, I said, don't grow, stop growing. But you have to think about how powerful the words that come out of your mouth penetrate the brain. So Camden said something the other day that I know he picked up from me when he was younger, before I understood the importance of language. And I was like, wow.
What was it?
I used to say, like, if he didn't want to do something, I'd say, I don't care, do it. And I just would say that for anything he would not want to do. That was my response at the time in my 20s. I'd say, I don't care, do it. I said something to him the other day, and he said, I don't care. But the way he said it was exactly the way I know I used to tell him before I'd make him pick up his toys. Yeah. And that's so deep, because Camden, he definitely struggles with, like, I'm a naturally positive, happy, go lucky person, social. He's social, but he at home and in his inner thoughts, he's more on the darker side. He struggles, I think, with just an inner sadness. And so,
he's getting much, he's turning into a different person.
He really is. And you know what? you are the first father figure that he's had in his life. And it was paramount that we meet. For some reason, the universe made this happen in so many different ways, because I feel like the dynamics of everyone within our blended family, we all help each other in one way or another. And that's what's beautiful, is because, you know, you see a lot of quotes on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you know, be 1% better every day. I really feel like we are doing that collectively as a family. Every day, we're no less than 1% better. And every day, life gets better and better. You and I have been able to manifest a lot in a short year. Actually, the 29th is the first day. July 29th was the first day we met. And so it's incredible. Like, we have so many years to make our dreams come true. And at the same time, we're also setting our children up for the futures that they want.
Cash coming for runs with us at night is huge.
Yeah.
Camden coming with us too.
Yeah.
Cash is now in boxing. Mikey's in boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely building a foundation that they can start building from.
Yeah. And they're going to be better than us. And that's the beautiful part. That is our reward.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Mikey's doing great with his diet right now.
Yes,
He's
he
doing
is.
great. So my side of the family, my father's side of the family has just a shit metabolism. My father was always bigger. My grandfather was always bigger. Bigger guys. They were 6'4", 6'3", 6'5", something like that. And you know, they always carried their weight well, but they always struggled with weight.
Yeah.
So now my brother Matt struggles with weight. I struggled with weight. Now I'm starting to see my son struggle with weight a little bit. So I'm trying to show him and teach him the techniques that I've used over the years of having to combat that. And he's finally starting to listen a little bit. So it sucks when you're like, you know, you want to be a certain way and you got to
work for it.
Yeah, you got to work for it. But even when you work for it and you're not where you want to be still, it can be frustrating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to be happy with what you have. And the people who master that, good for them. Yeah. I can't do it. I'm never fucking happy. You know what I mean? I'm happy. I'm just never happy with my production.
Yes.
You know, with the things that I complete throughout the day. When I get home at night, I never pat myself on the back. I never say, hey, good job today. And I'm not saying that for any other reason. I mean, that's really how it is. It's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I don't know, whatever. I use it. I know it's there, but I use it as fuel. I kind of try to find a way that I can grow from it, get better from it. And I know that I'm never going to be satisfied until I get to a certain level. And until then, I'm just going to go 100%.
Yeah.
This diet, man, we've been eating so clean for the last, I don't know. It feels like a while, but I guess it hasn't been. I mean, we've been
May
on and off.
May 1st is when we committed, is when we locked in.
But that was when we did our 30-day.
That was when, we did 30. We actually did 42 days.
So we did
total.
42 days of pretty much just meat and vegetables.
Yeah.
Didn't see a huge change. I guess you did.
I did.
You're changing, I mean, incredibly.
Yeah.
By the day. I saw you, I was looking at you at the gym. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And I was like, wow, you're making some crazy, crazy changes, especially your legs. Your legs are getting crazy definition and you're starting to sculpt now.
Yeah.
And I think I'm about 6 months away from that. You know what I mean? I still have a lot to work on, but this is the best part, the climb. You know, I said in the car the other day, when we get to the top, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Like when we get to where we want to be, what are we going to do? Yep. You just maintain it, but that's no fun. You know what I mean? Just maintaining.
It'll be fun maintaining it because.
But the excitement of that drive,
the change, the transformation,
hunger, wanting to do something. And like, I saw a quote the other day, create the person that you want to become. I resonate with that so much because if you're living a life that you are not happy with and you would like to live a different lifestyle, there's very easy steps to make that happen. Number one, start living the way those people live.
Yeah.
Start acting like those people act and you will become that person. It'll just happen by default because, you know, that's just how life works. If you do it long enough, you will become that thing.
Yeah.
And
that's true. And my favorite quote is practice makes progress. Instead of everyone saying practice makes perfect, it makes progress because that's more true to life. And when you're envisioning yourself in that, driving the car that you want to drive, just putting your whole oomph into that vision, then it comes true. For example, you hit a milestone. You got a truck. You got the second favorite truck that you've ever wanted. And that's a milestone. You envisioned being in it. It didn't take very long to get in it. And voila, it's here. We did the same thing with the house. And we're doing that with our bodies too. It just takes longer for some things. But every day is progress. This time next year, our bodies are going to be so defined, it's going to be sick. Like, I can't
what
wait.
I take away from all this? I take away the fact that you need to surround yourself with people who are motivated, people who want to do good.
And see you do good. It's huge. Like, there's going to be the people that watch you because they're waiting for you to fail. They want you to mess up.
There's a lot of them.
Also, there's a lot of the people that want to see you do good. Every person that you have introduced me to, you have an eclectic group of friends, first of all. And secondly, everyone is so welcoming, so joyful. You pick your people with sound mind. They all have individual strengths that add collectively to an amazing group. And it's been a joy meeting everybody here in Rhode Island. Rhode Island, I've realized, is very small. Almost everybody knows everyone. The longer I'm here, the more I understand that. And I've run into no negative situations. It's phenomenal.
I got good people around me.
Yeah.
Good people and we all want to see each other do good. Listen, at the end of the day, what we're doing with the podcast, with Instagram, with TikTok, all of our socials, it's in-your-face marketing. At the end of the day, we're throwing Horizon, CES in the mix, and all the other journeys that we're doing right now. Yeah. And that's how I want to keep things. I want to. What is that quote that? Who said that the other day? Oh, I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Work hard and show the world quote. See if you can find that.
Is it work hard in silence and then show the world, or
work hard, show the world? Basically, meaning share your accomplishments. Yeah. Let everybody know where you're at, because it's holding yourself to an accountability standard.
Definitely.
It's letting everybody know that you're open for more. You're open to receive more. Yeah. At the end of the day, work hard in silence, let your success be your noise. No, that's not it. It was a video I saw on TikTok or something. Show off what you're doing. Yeah. Show off what you're doing. And I promise you, just yesterday, I had somebody inbox me in Instagram. Yeah. And it's a mindset kid. He looks like he's doing some cool shit wherever he's at. I think he's out in, what do you say, California?
Yes. Well, no, he said he recently visited California.
Let's give him a shout out real quick on the podcast. Let's I am Wakemaker. His name's Luke. Cool ass kid, man. He ended up calling me and we were on a conversation for about half an hour. We got to know each other a little bit. And this is the kind of stuff I'm saying, though. This is just another person in our network. Yeah. Just another cool ass dude who's in the same mindset as us, winning, fitness, business. And now we can do it together. So now when we go out to Cali, and forgive me if it's, he just told me last night, and when we go out to Cali, we can link up with Luke and collab and make some videos together, make some content together. And guess what? People are going to see that video, and there's going to be another Luke or another Dan or another one of these kids that reach out to me and say, hey, let's collaborate. I love what you're doing. Let's link up. Let's go through some of his videos. I think if you go down a little bit.
Areas of life you are avoiding will bring you the most success. So take the training wheels off, take a deep look in the mirror, and stand by for heavy waves, because life is a battleship, not a cruise ship.
Good kid, man.
When life gets hard, don't panic, don't give up, don't fall back to the vices. Stay the course, trust the process, and have faith in God's plan.
So he linked me up. He put me in a group chat this morning, and it's this kid Garrett. We're going to be jumping on a call. Garrett G3. My point is I love being able to reach out to people like this that we would have no other reason to talk to them other than a mutual, a mutual connection or a mutual interest. So
right.
What about? I wanted to dive into the Trump thing a little bit, but I feel like that's kind of beaten up.
Is it beaten up or is it not being talked about enough? Because
That's a good point.
it's a huge thing. My stance on that is, and I've said it already, Trump is a symbol of the nucleus of our country, the United States of America. As the president, he's considered the nucleus. And if he can almost be shot in the head, then that means our nucleus is compromised. It's not safe, which also means that impacts every single one of us in the United States, because that means our border is not safe. If whoever is trying to kill the future president can get to him that easily, then what do we have?
I can agree with that, right? I can get behind that statement, but you can't take one incident and make it the entire border.
Why can't you think
can
outside of the box?
I am thinking, well, here's it is. This is obviously major incompetence, right?
Yes.
And I believe that is going on around the entire border.
Right.
But I just don't like the statement, I guess. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah.
The statement saying, because of that incident, our border is not safe. Well, those two really don't have to do with each other.
They have everything to do with each other.
Listen, I can see why people say that.
Because our strongest players are going to be around the nucleus.
Yeah.
Protecting the nucleus is what the job of the CIA, the FBI,
and the nucleus
police.
is supposed to be the United States.
Right.
Right.
I
listen, I don't doubt any of that, man. I really don't. I think it's absolutely crazy. I think they're auctioning off that hat right now for like $20 million
that is
incredible.
Start.
To start. Somebody will buy that. I mean, what do you think it's going to go up to?
I have no idea. I mean, like I was saying, Marilyn Monroe's dress is up there in price too, and it's just a dress. So it depends on, one, if he actually becomes the president, it's going to go up even more. They're not going to sell it before we know who's in office. But it's a risk, because it might be more now if he's not actually put in office again. So, that's going to be an interesting price.
Yeah, Logan Paul and Jake Paul just offered $12 million for it.
Oh, okay.
That's what their set price was. So it's going to go way beyond that. I feel bad for the family that was hurt during that incident. I ended up seeing the video of the father jumping on the family. I hate seeing that stuff. Unfortunately, in war, there's many more deaths from politicians and decision-making by politicians. It's really sad to see that. It's incredible that he just happened to look to his left at the migrant crisis stats. Yeah, just looked over to his left and it pierces his ear. Do you think that if it did not hit his ear and he'd be dead right now, there would be riots, there would be total anarchy? What do you think would actually be going on with the United States right now if that happened?
Honestly, I want to say that everyone would ride at dawn for our country, but honestly, we have more passive people than fighters. So I think, yes, there'd be small riots throughout the country, like there was for George Floyd and many other things that we've had.
This is Donald Trump, though.
I know it's Donald Trump, but at the end of the day, he's still a character, and he's not real to some people, even though they support him.
People look at him like a god.
Yeah,
People look at him like a god. I think there would be complete riots. I think there'd be madness right now.
I think there would be riots, but not to the point where it would disrupt our lives. So it's just, there were not riots with JFK, and he was highly popular for that time period as well.
True.
So
True.
It's just, the thing is, at the end of the day, people have to feed their families, and they're not going to go out there and ride at dawn for something that's not going to put food on the table.
It's absolutely crazy that Alex Jones called this shit.
Yeah.
Once again.
What do you think about that? Why is it that there are certain individuals that can predict and predict the future?
Here's playing devil's advocate, playing both sides. On one side, Alex Jones is very smart. Mm-hmm. He's too smart. A lot of people misunderstand him. He's very, very misunderstood. He truly wants the best for this country. Yeah. He truly cares about this country, as do most people. But he says so many outlandish things that once in a while they hit. And when they hit, they're like, oh shit, he just predicted the future. He knew this was coming. That's my theory. My theory is that he put so much out there. He also called he said that they would try to kill Biden after he didn't leave the election, right? He said that Trump would eventually try to get they would try to assassinate Trump. He called the power outages. He called, the next thing he's calling is just complete chaos. I don't know.
I mean, that's a lot for the law of numbers. He's hitting a lot of numbers. His accuracy is very on point considering how much information he puts out there. I mean, it's like darts. He's still getting a lot of bullseyes. But also, The Simpsons predicted a lot and keep predicting a lot. And it's said that the people that really are governing our entire democracy above our president are the writers and creators of The Simpsons.
Yeah, right.
So I am so fascinated.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. We don't know for sure. But how do they have cartoons that come out in 2009 that predict what happens in 2019? How do they do that?
Too many too, right? There's a lot. Ash, look up how many there were. I think there was like 17 or 18.
It's just strange.
Yeah, and they were pretty close too. They weren't just like predictions that kind of were loosely hit. Mm-hmm. The one that of Trump going down the stairs.
The escalators.
That one was wild. It's almost like Trump did that on purpose.
But I mean, it was so, I don't know. It's just incredible how accurate.
Do you think because Trump is a troll? At the end of the day, he
loves the likes.
But do you think he did that on purpose?
I feel like
do you think he came down the escalator on purpose with Melania behind him so it would match up to The Simpsons and so that everybody would create buzz and talk about The Simpsons and Trump?
Could happen. Absolutely.
Because that one really got me.
When was that episode created? Like, I'm interested.
I mean,
in
that
the
episode
dates.
looked old. It was probably in the early 2000s, late 1990s.
There's a lot here that I'm scrolling through.
There's so many.
Yeah.
24,
these are just
25.
like 30 specifically. Yeah. Presidency of Donald Trump was predicted.
Yep.
It was, the correctly predicting Super Bowls, the Disney buying 20th Century Fox. That's not too hard to guess though, because Disney just buying everything.
No.
Underwater submersible emergency situation.
Really? That was
watches.
called?
Yeah. Where those
Let me see that
billionaires drowned?
No video.
No, there's no video with that one. Just
smartwatches.
Again,
obvious.
Autocorrect. Yeah, some of these are like kind of like, you're predicting the future, just thinking of like future advancements.
Right.
Stealing cooking grease for cash, FIFA's corruption scandal, World Cup results, Beatles sending related fan mail, video chats, et cetera, et cetera. There's some of the things that you can predict just based on where technology is going. But there are some things that are kind of like
they had one episode a week for how many years? Or 2 episodes a week. I don't even know how many they ran per week that were like live. But
I never even watched them. I wasn't allowed to. I was banned from that.
Well, listen, if you do that for a long enough period of time and you have so many storylines that you're trying to create, eventually some of them are going to end up coming true. You smile, but it's true. Like most of that stuff we just saw, can you not agree? Was like obviously that was coming. You watch any movie that is taking place in the future that happened like 20 years ago. Terminator, all that stuff. There is stuff that happens within that movie, like Back to the Future and stuff like that has came true because it's almost like by default. Like, yeah, obviously that's going to end up happening.
How is it obvious when it's so
smart?
Far?
Because people were talking about watches. I mean, communicate. Who's that character? Dick Tracy.
Yeah,
he had that watch that you could talk to people
and
on.
Go Gadget.
Before that stuff was even real, like this is why there are inventions. Because that seed is planted and these people who are super smart, they take that seed and they dedicate their entire lives to it until they actually make it a thing. That's what I'm talking about.
So it's marketing is what you're saying.
Smart, right. You have to look at both sides though. You know how I am. I will not get on a side until I have all the information that I possibly have that I can make my own decision to say, okay, this is how I feel.
That's what I love about you.
And I won't even say this is how I feel if it's not. Yeah. Like if I have any doubt, I'll talk about it. I won't like say, yeah, I'm with you on that. Because it's just why. It's irresponsible to do.
Yeah.
That kind of is putting yourself in a position to be wrong.
Yeah.
It's putting yourself in a position to kind of
upset your soul if it doesn't sit with you.
But
yourself is your soul, your spirit. If it doesn't resonate, then it's not yours. That's how I feel about religion. Like it resonates for some people and it's a good thing for a lot of people. Yeah. And that is what their bread and butter, that's what makes them tick. They love God, they believe in God. Everything is their dedication to that. And that is okay. You have to love them for exactly who they are, no matter what religion. But at the same time, it's like with day-to-day information, if something just doesn't sit right, you can't force yourself to believe that.
Yeah. Speaking of religion, we're having Todd Chattel on.
Yeah.
And if you're from Rhode Island, chances are you know who the Chattels are. If you're around my age, I guess. You know, he had a tough childhood, tough life, and he ended up finding God. I think he always had faith, but I think when he went to prison, he really turned it on, from what I understand.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to talk about when he's here. But we're going to kind of do the whole God debate. You know, and I'm not going to be here to debate the actual, like, is there a God?
Right.
Because I do believe in God. I do believe in a lot of the things that we've been taught or have read, or it's not of like, it's more of like a belief in I know that there's something bigger than us.
Yeah.
That's something that created us, or
Definitely.
There's a reason why we're here. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stuff that I think is just absolutely crazy. And we're going to talk about that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. I love the conversation of religion. I get a little feisty with politics, but religion is near and dear to my heart because I definitely spent a lot of years in that.
Ash, are you religious?
Yeah, not religious, but I do believe in God. It's more relationship than religious. I'm the same way where, you know, what I've been taught is not to follow religion because religion fails. Yep. What matters most is follow Jesus, and having a relationship with him rather than believing in like a church or like a Catholic church or a certain type of religion. It's like religion will always fail. It is different in the world the way that you're seeing religion. But when you're having a relationship with Jesus, when you're having a relationship with God, it's more personal. In that case, it's like you don't need someone in the middle to send a prayer for you, or you don't need someone in the middle to forgive your sins. Like, you have to say, you have to confess and all this stuff. Like you have direct access in that relationship with God.
Yeah, that's a great perspective.
Did you grow up in a religious family? Did your parents go to church or anything? So
my parents grew up Catholic and was Catholic until about until I was about 10.
Are you Italian?
No. I am Puerto Rican. So Spanish also has the Catholic Church, and so I kind of grew up Catholic, but we converted to Christianity when I was 10, and haven't turned back since.
So that's going to be cool. That's going to be a good. I guess I would call a debate.
Yeah,
because you know there's a lot of stuff that I think had a lot to do with psychedelics. That's number one. I think a lot of the stuff that they saw, a lot of the stories that were written, had to do with either mushrooms or what's DMT. Mm-hmm. There's a few things that I read and I can feel that, yeah, that's something that you would feel or say or do
under the influence
of psychedelics. And there's just too many things. And here's the other thing too. It's like the telephone game. You get, 10 people in a circle and you start with the truth and you start whispering it in everybody's ear. And by the time it gets back to you, it's just all jacked up. It's not even close to what you said. There's so much time that has passed from those times till now. There's a lot of there's a lot of people in that circle. There's a lot of people who writ that book. There's a lot of translation that could have been took for a different meaning. There's just so many things that could have been mixed up and misconstrued that I can't, in my heart, listen or believe every single thing in that book. But I can believe in faith. I can have faith. There definitely is a God. There has been times where I prayed to God and I've gotten not what I've wanted, what he thought I deserved, what he thought I was ready for at that time. There's been plenty of times where I got on my knees and prayed and nothing happened. And that's probably because I wasn't ready for it at that time. To sit here and say I don't believe in God would be crazy. I do believe in God, but there's a lot of things that I would love to know prospectively on somebody that's really all in, opposed to someone like myself that's kind of I believe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider myself religious, but there's definitely a God.
Yeah.
What is the at the end of the day, like I was saying earlier, I think the purpose of us being here is growth. Mm-hmm. But what is it, man? Like why? Why? You know what I mean? Like we all live these lives and we come in alone and we die alone.
Yeah.
All that stuff in the middle goes. And 3 decades from now, you're going to be forgotten.
Right.
Just 3, maybe 2, you know,
Probably
2 if you're not really, if you didn't help a lot of people, if you didn't cause an impression. 2 decades, 2 generations, you're gone. People aren't going to remember my grandfather. When I die, my grandfather will die with me, unless I tell my son all the stories of my grandfather and he tells his son the stories of his great-great-grandfather.
Right.
But I think it's going to die right there.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know anything about my great-great-grandfather. You know, I know that he opened the first gay bar in Woonsocket because he saw, you know, they didn't have that shit back then.
What? How far back was that?
My great-grandfather.
Okay.
My grandfather's father. He was an Italian straight from Italy. He came here with no money, and he opened business after business after business.
That doesn't you fall far from that tree, huh?
Right.
Jeez.
So one of the businesses though was he opened a club, and that one was a straight club. But the next one he did, and he also did family style chicken. He is the man who brought family style chicken around this area.
Wow.
And then Wright's Farm picked it up, and then the Bocce Club.
I definitely know that genetics plays a big part in people that end up like you and I. That mindset where, I don't know, we just know that there's a lot to accomplish and that we can do it in great heaps and bounds. Because so I come from the Eastmans, which they started Eastman Kodak. So within my bloodline, my great grandfather, he opened up restaurants in Vermont. So he was a millionaire. Like within my family bloodline, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, and myself, my sister, my younger sisters, my daughter, I naturally gave birth to more entrepreneurs. So the genetic part of how we get our traits and what it is that we like you just said, your great grandfather loved opening businesses. That's you. You love the creation, and it's like those are your babies. You make it, you watch it grow, you send it out, and it flies. And it's so funny because that's only 2 generations back, and his genetics were still that strong in yours.
I see a lot of my son. I see a lot of my father in my son. Yeah. Which skips a generation, goes to my son, but it's like crazy. I see it sometimes and I'm like, holy crap, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's wild to be able to pinpoint, like, he got that from here and he got that from there.
Yeah. I see a lot of that when I'm around your family. You have a lot of your mother's characteristics. And what's beautiful about being a parent is you want to see your children do better than you did. And that's, I don't know, maybe that's the purpose of life too, is reproducing and creating the better version of yourself.
That's growing at the end of the day, wouldn't you say?
It's growing.
It's growing.
Yep.
Yeah. What do we got in the news? I kind of want to make this one short. I want to go home and eat. It's been a long day. I'm glad we got in here though, and let's see what we got in the news. Let's talk about a couple of top stories, and we will wrap this thing up.
We got here Harris, Trump in dead heat in latest presidential race.
Bullshit. So listen to this. Listen. For everybody that thinks that Kamala Harris has a chance to contend with Trump in the polls are absolutely insane. Insane. To think that woman has a chance to beat that man. I went on this morning just scrolling through CNN. Like I said earlier, I love to get my news from multiple sources. Yeah. And then I form my own opinion. Mm-hmm. I look at CNN, I look at Fox, I look on Instagram, I look on Twitter, I gather, and I think. They're saying that Kamala Harris is racing in the polls. She's flying up behind Trump, and she actually has a chance to win. President Obama came out this morning and said, I will not endorse this woman because she has no chance in winning. The ideology aspect of this is very interesting because the people who are getting behind Kamala Harris are the people who would have gotten behind Biden. They would have gotten behind a catcher's mitt if it was running for president because of the ideology it stands for, because of the trans rights, because of the Black Lives Matters, and I'm not taking shots at any of those individual groups. I'm saying that all those groups are in a pot. They all stick together and they all make decisions based on the same thing. And if you don't get behind their decision, you're not part of their group. You know what I mean? If you get a Democrat that says, and that's why a lot of Democrats are moving over to a Republican or moving to the middle, because this is absolute bullshit. It's a talking puppet head at its finest. The things that she says blows my mind. Some of the stuff that comes out of her mouth, I'm like, I don't understand somebody in a leadership role. She couldn't even run my construction company. And I hate to be using what Trump says, put her in a room with Putin or put her in a room with the president of China and she'll get eaten alive. They're not going to show her any respect. She doesn't seem like she can hold her own in any type of debate or conversation. And the debate coming up is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
To see really where her mindset is. But that she put thousands of innocent people in prison. She is trying to get rid of ICE. She's trying to bring in undocumented citizens. Now, this is all words out of her mouth. I saw all of this today. Words that she said. She's trying to bring in illegal, undocumented citizens and give them a right to vote. She's trying to get felons, people on death row, people who really shouldn't have a right to vote. And that's been in our policy for many, many years. But her whole idea is change. These things need to be spoken about. These things. Now, I agree. There is some things that need to be adjusted. There's some things that in our policy are probably a little bit too old for where we are right now. But some of the stuff she says, man, is absolutely crazy. I don't know. I don't think she has any chance whatsoever coming close to but you know what they're going to do? They're going to make it close.
Yeah.
They're going to make it so it's neck and neck. They're going to make it so everybody's watching at the edge of their seat. It's starting to turn into a fucking reality show.
I don't know. I'm confused and conflicted about it because, I mean, she is the first female vice president that our country has ever had. And
so what?
Well, the thing is, I mean, a lot of women were banking on her maintaining intelligence throughout her run. What I'm confused about is she did the debates and she got herself to the vice president. She sounded like an intellectual at one point, but then she started talking about electric yellow buses and everything went downhill from there.
And you know why? Because the people that are controlling her, the Democratic Party, Pelosi, Schumer, all of those people are telling her the agendas that she needs to push.
Right.
So when you do not have an authenticity about yourself and you are pushing agendas that you may not agree with, or agendas that you deep down know that are not going to help this country, you start stuttering over your words. We can feel that.
Yeah.
We can feel that it's not genuineness. So it's like people are just starting to see right through this bullshit. It's sad, to be honest. It's really sad that we're in a position like this because I look at America as being the greatest country in the world.
It is.
I know everybody else I don't care. They can say whatever they want. There's people literally hopping fences and being stuffed in a freaking cargo ship where they can't move their body for 100 hours just to get here.
Yeah.
They're doing some extreme shit to get here. There's none of us. We're not trying to do that shit to go to Russia.
Right.
Nobody here is being wrapped in barbed wire, tucked under a tire, and being chartered off to Bangladesh. Nobody is doing that.
Yeah.
So for people that, I'm sure there's nicer places to live in this world in the United States. And I'm not saying that, there's some ignorance going on right now that I just hate seeing. I hate watching it. And I hate knowing that, my son is going to be a part of this, that we are a part of this.
Yeah.
That's
That's what hurts most is the fact that negative and positive change take time. So if our country, our democracy was to go down, it would impact our children and our grandchildren more than us, which is, it's sad to think because that's out of our control. Where do you think our democracy is going to be as a country in 5 years?
I think that we have we have smarter people coming.
Yeah?
Yes. I think what we're seeing is a massive shift in dynamic right now.
Wow.
I don't think anybody has a chance to beat Trump this time around. It's because he got shot. It's because his life was attempted on. Because of that, nobody's going to beat him. After that, after his 4 years, I don't know. But I do think that younger, smarter people are coming in, and we are going to start pushing. When he gets into that house, he is going to raise hell on the people who were coming after him when he was not president.
Yeah.
this last 2 years where they've been running him through the mud, arresting him for, I read one of the charges the other day, and it's a charge that's on his record, but they didn't talk about it much in the media. And I think it's because it was so absurd. I can't remember what it was, but it just blew my mind. That guy does not forgive. That guy does not forget. And I've been watching him for a long time, from WWF to The Apprentice. He's a savage. He is a savage of a businessman.
Yeah.
He may seem like fluffy and this and that, and that guy's a maniac. And when you surround yourself,
Megalomaniac, yes.
Fine. And when you surround yourself with people like Dana White and all the people that he's friends with, it tells a lot about him and where he's at in life.
Yeah,
and trust me, the people that came after him, he is going to go after hard, and it's going to be very interesting. I just don't want it to turn into anything that's going to hurt the bottom line for America. Yeah. I want this country to continue doing good. I want prosperity for everybody. I want the stock market to be healthy. Yeah. I don't want to slip into a depression or a freaking, gas prices, food prices, they're already through the roof. People already can't afford. We spent $500 on groceries today.
Yeah.
People can't afford this shit. We're fortunate enough to where we're in a position we can, but there's a lot of people who are struggling. My sister, people, our own family, they're hurting because the way that they're used to living, they can't do anymore. Yeah. They can't comfortably live off of the way. And listen, what we do, right? Constantly striving for more and more. That's not for everybody. Yeah. There is people out there who have incredible lives that just want to be with family. They just want to go to their 9 to 5 or their bartending job and go home and call it a day and be with their family.
On the weekends.
Incredible.
The weekends,
incredible.
Yeah.
But it's getting to the point where these people cannot sustain that type of living anymore. Yeah. And it's sad to watch. Ash, pull up, what was that channel on YouTube that we watched the other night of a girl living out of her car? And I told you, I looked at you and I said, she's comfortable with her life.
Yeah. I don't remember the name of that channel, but you picked actually 3 different examples of people living out of their vehicles. And I'm glad you started with her because each video progressively got better.
The reason why I bring this up, it's very, very interesting watching this. Okay, so this video was how long ago?
It was a month ago.
Okay. She has a bucket in the center console. Well, she took the front seat out of her car. She puts a bucket there and she shits and pisses in her bucket. I was taken out. Right? She's got a cat that lives inside that car with a cat litter box in the back underneath the seat. Yeah. She's okay with that life.
Yeah.
She right here, she can look at you all she wants and says, this is the only thing I can afford, but that's bullshit.
Yeah.
She has already accepted that type of life. She has already accepted defeat. She's already tapped in. She's already tapped out because now her expectations are that.
Yeah.
That. Anything more than that will be, I won.
Yeah.
So it sucks to see this.
I mean,
you cannot tell me that girl is happy. I don't care who you are. I don't care if she's looking at me and there's a lie detector test on her finger and it tests that and it comes back that she's not lying. I would not believe it. She's not happy.
Yeah.
She's not happy. You can tell by her weight. You can tell by her expressions. There's no way she's happy, man. I guess my point is that we're heading into a place in our world where we either gotta make a decision to change or things are just going to keep getting like this. Yeah. Because people that used to live a simple life as a bartender or whatever are not able to sustain that life anymore. They need a roommate now that they don't know, or they need to live with a freaking uncle that they hate, that whatever the situation is. The American dream of getting an apartment, getting a job, moving your way up to a house, building a family.
The white picket fence.
It's shrinking because their expectations are so low now.
Do you think that has to do with the fact that the family unit has broken down? Because before you went to school, you knew you were going to work.
I think so.
And you're going to provide for a family. So for her, she only has to provide for a cat. And so this situation, her and the cat, she has nothing to strive for. She doesn't have a husband. She doesn't have children. And her cat can be mobile. So I feel like the family unit has a big impact on that. and obviously 2 incomes always help out too, and that's a big thing too. But I mean, it's deep. This is deep.
Yeah.
The situation that people are being forced to change their mindsets.
Yeah, I do think it's family function. I think it's I can't say because I have a son. The things that I do are a lot of it's because of him. But I do believe that if I did not have a son or you and I was single, that I would probably still be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's something in me
Yeah, that's true.
that where I want to, you know, be the best. Anyway, we'll go back to Kamala. I just don't. I think I'm looking forward to the debate. I think she's going to get destroyed. And for everybody watching, if you think she has any chance of even coming close to Trump in the polls, if they say that they're lying. It's a lie.
What if it happens? Then they're rigged.
I would freak. I don't know, man. I don't know.
feel
I
like
would just
Trump
give up hope.
I feel like Trump won last time when Biden.
I don't know.
miraculously
I
did.
think there is a chance that Biden could have won fair because a lot of people were not happy with Trump at that time.
Yeah, they didn't know him yet.
No, there's a lot of people who just were, you know, he only had 4 years to kind of, and he went through 2 years of COVID.
Yeah,
You know, he got
true.
bombarded by every fucking direction possible.
Yeah.
COVID hit him. Russia hit him. They thought he was in conspiracy with Russia for obtaining false documents and this. They were always attacking him, and they're going to do the same thing again, right? But people know he's just going to keep fighting. So he's got the edge. He's got the upper hand right now, and I hope he comes out on top because, you know, as tough as he is, as a piece of a shit, you know, I don't want to say piece of shit, as tough as he is and as stern as he is, and he can be a little edgy and rough around the edges.
Yeah.
You need that in business, and this country is a business. I think that's it, man. I want to go home and eat.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm starving. I got to wake up tomorrow at 6:30. I have community service to do. I'm going to be picking up trash on the
What's
side of the
weather
road.
gonna be like?
I don't know. I didn't even look, but
Let's
guys,
check
do
it.
not ever buy a vehicle and throw other plates on that vehicle, even if it's for a day. I had bought that van that day, and I needed to go pick up a crate or something in Peabody, and I transferred the plates from a broken down car I had in the driveway to the van I had just bought that day. I got pulled over, and they slapped me with bada bing, bada boom, and 8 hours of community service. So that's where I'll be tomorrow morning. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Last episode got 1.1 thousand views, and I couldn't be more happy with that. Thank you for
Yes.
everybody's support. I want to say one more time, do not forget about our referral program, perforated edge at the bottom. Put your name on the back, hand out to family and friends, and you will get an 8% commission on all the jobs that you bring in. And that goes for Facebook, Instagram, and all other platforms. Everybody have a great night.